wisdom of Cisu. 20 years had elapsed since the discovery of the ancient books by the curious band of gorillas. The world had changed in ways that none of the original explorers could have imagined. Among the gorillas, a figure emerged who was revered for his wisdom, insight, and the ability to unlock the secrets of the past, a gorilla named Cisu. Cisu was unlike any other of his kind. From the moment the ancient books were unearthed, he had devoted himself to deciphering the intricate symbols within their pages. His persistence and keen intellect allowed him to unlock a trove of knowledge that resonated with the echoes of a forgotten civilization. He was a visionary, understanding not only the literal meaning of the texts, but also the deeper implications of the knowledge they contained. With meticulous care and unwavering dedication, Cisu embarked on a mission to impart this newfound wisdom to his fellow gorillas. He was selective in what he chose to share, understanding the power and responsibility that came with the knowledge he had gained. He knew that not all of it was safe for the unprepared minds of his brethren, so he carefully curated the lessons he passed on. Cisu handpicked a group of talented gorillas, those he deemed capable of carrying the torch of knowledge forward. These gorillas became the torchbearers of wisdom, the custodians of knowledge that transcended the boundaries of time and species. Under Cisu's guidance, they learned the art of tool-making, harnessed the power of fire, and delved into the realms of science and culture. Their minds expanded with each passing day as they absorbed the lessons Cisu imparted. Cisu was not just a teacher but a leader, guiding his students with a mixture of wisdom and compassion. He understood that the knowledge he shared could be a force for good or ill, depending on how it was used. He taught his students to approach their newfound abilities with humility and to use their skills to improve the lives of all creatures, not just their own. But knowledge, once shared, has a way of spreading beyond the control of its originators. Despite Cisu's best efforts to keep certain aspects of the ancient wisdom contained, the allure of power proved too great for one of his students. The betrayal. Among the talented gorillas under Cisu's tutelage was one named Kodo. Kodo was gifted, ambitious, and eager to prove himself. But he was also impatient, chafing at the limitations Cisu placed on what could be shared. He longed to explore the forbidden knowledge, to push beyond the boundaries that Cisu had set. One day, Kodo was approached by a group of lions who had caught wind of the knowledge that Cisu and his students were cultivating. The lions were impressed by the tools and fire that the gorillas wielded and desired such power for themselves. They offered Kodo a tempting bribe, access to their territory, protection, and a position of influence among their kind, in exchange for sharing the secrets he had learned. Kodo, driven by ambition and the desire for recognition, succumbed to temptation. He revealed the knowledge that Cisu had so carefully guarded, betraying not only his teacher but also the trust of his fellow students. The lions, armed with this newfound wisdom, quickly began to replicate the skills that the gorillas had mastered. They forged tools, harnessed fire, and soon surpassed even Kodo's expectations in their application of the ancient knowledge. The impact of Kodo's betrayal was immediate and far-reaching. The knowledge that had been exclusive to a select few began to permeate across species, transforming the landscape of the world once more. Lions, tigers, bears, and an array of other creatures embraced this newfound knowledge, applying the skills gleaned from the ancient texts to navigate their world with unparalleled finesse. The spread of knowledge. As the secrets of the ancient books spread, a new era of civilization began to take shape. The animals, now armed with the tools and wisdom of a forgotten age, began to build societies that mirrored, and in some ways surpassed, the achievements of the humans who had come before them. Lions, the first to benefit from Kodo's betrayal, quickly established themselves as leaders in the use of technology and strategy. They formed organized prides that coordinated their efforts with military precision, using tools to hunt, build, and defend their territory. The knowledge of fire allowed them to create safe havens in the wild, warding off predators and cultivating the land. Tigers, with their natural agility and strength, adapted the ancient knowledge to suit their own needs. They became master builders, constructing intricate structures from the materials around them. Their keen senses and solitary nature made them adept hunters and scholars, able to balance the demands of survival with the pursuit of knowledge. Bears, with their massive strength and endurance, applied the wisdom of the ancient books to engineering and resource management. They built dams to control water flow, designed shelters that could withstand the harshest elements, and developed systems for storing food and supplies. Their ingenuity transformed them into the guardians of the natural world, ensuring that the resources they relied on were used sustainably. Even smaller creatures, such as the hyenas, leopards, and wolves, embraced the ancient knowledge, adapting it to their own unique circumstances. The hyenas, known for their cunning and resourcefulness, became skilled negotiators and traders, using their knowledge to build networks of alliances and trade routes. Leopards, with their grace and stealth, developed a deep understanding of the natural world, becoming experts in medicine and healing. Wolves, with their pack mentality and strategic minds, excelled in governance and military strategy, leading their packs with wisdom and foresight. The world witnessed the birth of a new civilization, sculpted by the shared legacy of human knowledge passed through the conduit of a wise gorilla. Every species hailed Cisu as a luminary, a great creator whose wisdom had paved the way for their ascendance. The animals revered him, not just as a leader, but as a symbol of the power of knowledge and the importance of using it wisely. The rise of nations. As the years passed and the knowledge continued to spread, the animals began to organize themselves into nations. These nations were defined not only by their geographical territories, but also by the cultural and intellectual achievements that set them apart. The gorillas, under Cisu's continued guidance, established the nation of Gorillist. Gorillist became known as a center of learning and culture, a place where knowledge was valued above all else. The gorillas built libraries, schools, and laboratories where they continued to study the ancient texts and apply their teachings to improve their society. Gorillist became a beacon of enlightenment, attracting scholars and thinkers from all species who sought to learn from the wisdom of the ancients. The lions, having harnessed the power of fire and tools, founded the nation of Leoniais. Leoniais was a land of warriors and strategists, where strength and honor were prized above all else. The lions built fortresses and training grounds, where they honed their skills in combat and governance. Leoniais became known as the protector of the New World, a bastion of order and security. The tigers, with their skills in building and engineering, established the nation of Tagera. Tagera was a land of innovation and creativity, where the boundaries of possibility were constantly being pushed. The tigers built cities of stone and wood, with intricate designs that reflected their keen minds and artistic sensibilities. Tagera became a hub of technological advancement, where new inventions and discoveries were celebrated and shared. The bears, with their focus on sustainability and resource management, founded the nation of Birais. Birais was a land of balance and harmony, where the needs of the individual were always weighed against the needs of the community and the environment. The bears built structures that blended seamlessly with the natural world, creating a society that was both prosperous and sustainable. Birais became known as the guardian of the earth, a nation dedicated to preserving the natural world for future generations. Beyond these mighty nations lay Hyania, governed by the cunning and resourceful hyenas, Leopardia, ruled by the graceful and elusive leopards, and Wolfia, led by the strategic and fiercely loyal wolves. These smaller nations formed the diverse tapestry of this evolved world, each contributing to the cultural and intellectual mosaic that defined their era. Hyania became a center of trade and diplomacy, where the hyenas brokered deals and formed alliances that spanned the globe. Leopardia became a sanctuary of healing and spirituality, where the leopards practiced ancient medicinal arts and communed with the natural world. Wolfia became a land of military precision and governance, where the wolves led their packs with wisdom and strategic acumen. Together, these nations formed a complex and interwoven society, each contributing to the other's prosperity and growth. They traded goods and knowledge, formed alliances and treaties, and engaged in friendly competition to spur innovation and progress. The world was thriving, its inhabitants united by a shared heritage and a common language. The legacy of Cisu. As these nations grew in knowledge and understanding, drawing from the troves of wisdom within the ancient books, they burgeoned to unprecedented levels of sophistication. From the realms of science to the expressions of art, from the frontiers of technology to the intricacies of politics, every aspect of knowledge experienced an exponential ascent. Scientific discoveries propelled them forward, unlocking mysteries of the universe and harnessing the elements with an ingenuity that rivaled their human predecessors. They developed technologies that allowed them to communicate across vast distances, explore the depths of the oceans, and even reach for the stars. They studied the natural world with a depth and precision that led to new medicines, new sources of energy, and new ways of understanding their place in the universe. Art flourished, painting vivid tapestries that echoed the beauty of their world and the richness of their cultures. Sculptors carved masterpieces from stone and wood, painters captured the majesty of nature on canvases made from woven grasses, and musicians created symphonies that echoed through the forests and plains. Art became a way for these creatures to express their identities, to tell their stories, and to connect with one another on a deep and emotional level. Technology surged ahead, paving pathways to innovations that reshaped their existence. They built machines that could till the soil, harness the wind, and generate power from the sun. They constructed buildings that reached towards the heavens, designed transportation that could carry them across the land and sea, and developed communication networks that connected their world in ways that were unimaginable just a few generations before. Politics evolved into a delicate dance of diplomacy and governance, guided by the collective wisdom gleaned from the ancient texts and the innovative strategies born of their unique intellects. The leaders of these nations formed councils where they met to discuss issues of mutual concern, to resolve conflicts, and to plan for the future. They developed systems of governance that were just and fair, ensuring that the needs of all creatures were met and that their societies could thrive in peace and prosperity. In a nod to the history they had inherited, these evolved beings christened their nations based on the lexicon of a bygone civilization, preserving the echoes of a forgotten era within the very fabric of their present. They named their cities and monuments after the ancient humans who had come before them, honoring the legacy of those who had laid the foundations of their new world. Admiration and reverence poured forth from every corner of the evolving world, as creatures of all kinds bowed in homage to Cisu, attributing to him the status of a deity, a symbol of wisdom and guidance that had shaped their destiny. Statues were erected in his honor, stories were told of his wisdom and leadership, and his teachings were passed down from generation to generation. A flourishing civilization. And so, in the wake of this evolution, a civilization flourished, a testament to the indomitable spirit of curiosity, wisdom, and the unending quest for enlightenment that transcended the bounds of time and species. The world was filled with wonders, with beauty, and with a sense of purpose that united all creatures in their shared journey towards a brighter future. The passage of 4 millennia witnessed a remarkable evolution in the world once reclaimed by nature. From the remnants of a forgotten civilization emerged nations, each governed by the mightiest and most intelligent creatures that roamed the earth. These nations thrived, their foundations rooted in the ancient wisdom gleaned from the cryptic tomes discovered centuries ago. Gorillas, Leoniais, Tagera, and Birai stood as the 4 dominant powers, each presided over by their respective species: gorillas, lions, tigers, and bears. These nations had grown in power and influence, their societies becoming more complex, more sophisticated, and more interconnected with each passing generation. They were the leaders of this new world, the guardians of knowledge, and the architects of the future. Beyond these mighty nations lay Hyaenia, Leopardia, and Wolfia, each contributing its unique flair to the intricate patchwork of this evolved world. They thrived in an environment steeped in diversity, fostering a rich tapestry of cultures, traditions, and ideologies that defined their epoch. Together, these nations formed a symphony of intellect, innovation, and cultural vibrancy that reverberated across the world, a testament to the indomitable spirit of evolution and the resilience of life itself. The world had changed beyond recognition, but the legacy of Cisu and the knowledge he had uncovered remained at its core. It was a world of wonder, a world of possibility, and a world that had learned from the past to build a future that was truly extraordinary. And so, as the eons continued to pass, the story of this remarkable civilization would be told and retold, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who would come after. The art of weaponry and defense. In the heart of this evolved civilization, where creatures of great intelligence and strength ruled, the concept of weaponry took on a form that was both practical and symbolic. While the production and use of firearms had not been entirely abandoned, the creatures of this world held a deep reverence for the might of their own strength and the primal efficiency of crafted tools. Weapons like machetes and axes were not just instruments of war, they were extensions of the creatures themselves, symbols of their power, skill, and connection to the earth. Machetes, with their broad, sharp blades, were favored for their versatility. They were used in both battle and daily tasks, such as cutting through dense foliage or preparing food. The craftsmanship that went into creating a machete was revered, with the finest blades passed down through generations, each carrying the weight of history and tradition. Axes, with their heavy heads and sturdy handles, were equally prized. They were used not only for felling trees and splitting wood, but also as formidable weapons in combat, capable of cleaving through armor and bone. These tools were more than mere weapons, they were symbols of self-reliance and mastery over one's environment. The creatures of this world took pride in their ability to wield these tools with precision and skill, seeing in them a reflection of their own physical prowess. The machete and the axe became extensions of their will, instruments through which they could shape the world around them, defend their homes, and assert their place within the hierarchy of their society. However, the creatures of this evolved civilization were not naive. They understood the importance of protection and defense on a larger scale, especially in a world where multiple nations coexisted, each with its own ambitions and interests. While their personal strength and skill with primitive weapons were paramount, they also recognized the need to fortify their borders with more advanced technology. To this end, they delved into the production of firearms and military technology, harnessing the knowledge gleaned from the ancient texts discovered centuries ago. The ancient tomes, carefully studied and interpreted, provided insights into the mechanics of gunpowder, metallurgy, and ballistics. The creatures used this knowledge to develop guns that were both powerful and reliable, though their use was reserved for situations where personal combat was not sufficient. The development of firearms and other military technologies was seen as a necessary evil, a pragmatic response to the realities of their world. While the creatures preferred to rely on their own strength and the weapons they crafted with their own hands, they also understood the importance of being prepared for any threat that might arise. They constructed fortresses, armed their borders with cannons and sentinels, and trained specialized forces to use these weapons with precision and discipline. These fortifications were not just physical structures, they were symbols of the collective strength and unity of the nations that built them. The creatures took great pride in their ability to defend their territories, seeing in these fortifications a reflection of their own resilience and determination. The might of their military technology, combined with their innate physical prowess and the artistry of their crafted weapons, made them formidable defenders of their lands. The modes of transportation. In this world where both ancient knowledge and evolved intellect coexisted, the creatures had also developed sophisticated modes of transportation. While they were capable of traversing great distances on foot, they understood the value of speed and efficiency, especially in a world that was vast and filled with challenges. Two primary modes of transportation emerged as the most favored among these evolved beings: horses and motorcycles. Horses, with their grace and agility, were revered for their strength and endurance. The creatures of this world had developed a deep bond with these noble animals, training them to respond to commands with the slightest touch or word. Riding a horse was seen as a partnership, a dance between rider and steed that required skill, trust, and mutual respect. Horses were used not only for transportation but also in battle, where their speed and agility made them invaluable assets. Cavalry units, composed of the most skilled riders, were a common sight in the armies of the various nations. These riders, armed with machetes and lances, could strike swiftly and retreat just as quickly, using their mobility to outmaneuver their enemies. The bond between rider and horse was sacred, with each relying on the other for survival in the heat of battle. Motorcycles, on the other hand, represented the creatures' mastery of technology and their desire for speed. The motorcycles they rode were not just machines, they were works of art, crafted with precision and care. These vehicles were lightweight yet durable, capable of traversing rough terrain at high speeds. The creatures had developed a deep understanding of mechanics, allowing them to build and maintain these motorcycles with a level of expertise that rivaled their human predecessors. Motorcycles were favored for their speed and maneuverability, especially in situations where time was of the essence. Messengers, scouts, and couriers often used motorcycles to travel quickly across vast distances, delivering messages and information that could change the course of events. In times of war, motorcycles were used by specialized units trained in hit-and-run tactics, their speed allowing them to strike at enemy positions and retreat before the enemy could react. The combination of horses and motorcycles allowed these evolved beings to navigate their world with unparalleled efficiency. Whether they were traversing the open plains, climbing steep mountain paths, or navigating the dense forests, they had the means to do so swiftly and effectively. These modes of transportation became integral to their way of life, reflecting both their connection to the natural world and their mastery of technology. The culinary evolution. The creatures of this world, with their evolved intellects and refined palates, had also developed a unique culinary tradition that reflected their preferences and the resources available to them. Their diet was rich and varied, drawing on the bounty of the natural world while also incorporating the knowledge and techniques gleaned from the ancient texts. One of the most significant staples of their diet was a food known as cainias, nutritious seeds extracted from the anara tree, a plentiful natural resource that grew abundantly across their lands. Cainias were highly prized for their rich flavor and nutritional value, making them a central component of the creature's diet. The process of harvesting and preparing cainias was a ritual in itself, requiring skill and patience. The seeds were carefully decorticated, their hard shells removed to reveal the tender, flavorful core within. Once prepared, cainias could be eaten raw, roasted, or ground into a flour that was used to make a variety of dishes. Their nutty essence made them a versatile ingredient, suitable for both sweet and savory preparations. Cainias became the foundation of many meals, often paired with grilled meats sourced from animals like deer, pigs, and bulls. The creatures of this world had developed a deep appreciation for the art of grilling, mastering the techniques needed to cook meat to perfection. They understood the importance of timing, temperature, and seasoning, ensuring that each cut of meat was tender, flavorful, and satisfying. The combination of cainias and grilled meats became a customary delicacy, a meal that satisfied both the physical needs and gastronomic desires of these evolved beings. The nutty essence of the cainias complemented the succulent flavors of the grilled meat, creating a harmony of tastes and textures that epitomized their culinary prowess. This dish was not only nourishing but also a reflection of their culture and their connection to the natural world. Their culinary traditions extended beyond just the preparation of food. They also took great pride in the rituals and customs surrounding meals. Communal dining was an important aspect of their culture, with meals often shared among family members, friends, and allies. These gatherings were not just about eating, they were opportunities to bond, to share stories, and to strengthen the social fabric of their communities. Feasts were held to celebrate important events, such as the harvest, the changing of the seasons, or victories in battle. These feasts were grand affairs, with tables laden with cainias, grilled meats, fruits, and other delicacies. Music, dancing, and storytelling were integral parts of these celebrations, creating a sense of unity and shared identity among the participants. The creatures of this world understood that food was more than just sustenance. It was a way to connect with one another, to honor their traditions, and to celebrate the richness of life. Their culinary practices were a reflection of their values, their creativity, and their deep connection to the land that sustained them. The structure of society. In the tapestry of this evolved civilization, societal structures had taken root, mirroring the complexities and organizational depth akin to human societies. As the creatures of this world grew in knowledge and understanding, they began to develop systems of governance that were both effective and fair, drawing on the wisdom gleaned from the ancient texts. A form of democracy emerged, sculpted by the collective wisdom inherited from their human predecessors. The creatures understood the importance of representation, equity, and the rule of law, and they sought to create a system of government that reflected these principles. At the helm of their society stood the president, a revered figure entrusted with the leadership of their nations. The president was chosen through a democratic process, elected by the citizens to serve as the head of state for a fixed term. The president's role was to guide the nation, make decisions in the best interest of the people, and represent the nation on the global stage. Assisting the president were ministers, each responsible for the management of specific departments crucial to the functioning of society. These ministers were experts in their respective fields, chosen for their knowledge, experience, and ability to lead. Together, the president and the ministers formed the executive branch of government, responsible for implementing laws, managing resources, and ensuring the well-being of the citizens. The cornerstone of their democratic system lay in the periodic exercise of their right to vote. Every 5 years, citizens cast their ballots, a solemn expression of their will and a testament to their evolved understanding of governance. Through these elections, they chose their president, governors, and mayors, ensuring the continuity of leadership guided by the voices of the populace. The electoral process was a carefully organized event, with campaigns, debates, and discussions taking place in the months leading up to the vote. Candidates presented their platforms, outlining their visions for the future and their plans for addressing the challenges facing the nation. Citizens were encouraged to engage in the political process, to ask questions, and to make informed decisions when casting their ballots. Free speech, a principle cherished and safeguarded, served as the bedrock of their societal fabric. The lessons imbibed from the ancient texts had instilled in them the importance of discourse, debate, and the free exchange of ideas, an essence that permeated every echelon of their society. Citizens were encouraged to voice their opinions, to participate in public discussions, and to hold their leaders accountable for their actions. The creatures understood that a healthy democracy required an informed and engaged citizenry, and they invested in education to ensure that all citizens had access to the knowledge and skills needed to participate fully in society. Schools and universities were established, where students learned not only about history, science, and the arts, but also about the principles of democracy, governance, and the responsibilities of citizenship. Their knowledge, drawn from the vaults of those hallowed books, formed the backbone of their education, a reservoir of wisdom that sculpted their understanding of politics, governance, and the intricate dynamics of societal structures. The ancient texts were studied and analyzed, with scholars working to interpret their teachings and apply them to the challenges of the present. In embracing democracy, these evolved beings had fashioned a system that echoed the principles of equity, representation, and the collective will of the governed. Their journey toward a governance model steeped in participation, freedom, and knowledge stood as a testament to their unyielding quest for a society founded on principles of fairness and enlightenment. The continuation of a legacy. And thus, in the corridors of their civilization, where the echoes of ancient knowledge resonated, a society thrived, a tapestry woven with the threads of democracy, nurtured by the principles of free speech, and guided by the collective wisdom inherited from a distant past. The creatures of this world had built a society that was not only prosperous and peaceful, but also deeply connected to the values and traditions that had shaped their evolution. Their world was a place where the past and the present coexisted in harmony, where the lessons of history were honored, and where the future was approached with a sense of hope and possibility. The creatures of this evolved civilization understood that they were the custodians of a great legacy, one that they had inherited from their human predecessors, and one that they were determined to pass on to future generations. In their weapons, their transportation, their food, and their governance, they had created a world that was uniquely their own, a world that reflected their values, their strengths, and their aspirations. They had taken the knowledge of the past and used it to build a society that was just, equitable, and sustainable, a society where every citizen had the opportunity to thrive. The creatures of this world were not content to rest on their laurels. They continued to explore, to innovate, and to push the boundaries of what was possible. They were a civilization on the rise, one that was determined to leave its mark on the world and to ensure that the legacy they had inherited would continue to inspire and guide future generations. And so, as the sun set on another day in this evolved world, the creatures of this civilization looked to the future with confidence and determination. They knew that they were the heirs to a great tradition, one that had been passed down through the ages, and they were committed to honoring that tradition by building a world that was worthy of the knowledge and wisdom they had been given. In this world of machetes and axes, of horses and motorcycles, of cañas and grilled meats, a civilization thrived, a testament to the indomitable spirit of evolution and the resilience of life itself. The creatures of this world had taken the lessons of the past and used them to create a future that was bright, hopeful, and full of possibility.